Hi, this is Michael Waitze and welcome back to the Thailand GameChanger. We took a bit of a break due to COVID-19. I think a lot of people did, but Thailand has come back really strong. And life seems to me very much back to normal. We're very glad to be back here doing this again. Thailand GameChanger is focused on the driving forces behind the startup ecosystem in Thailand and all of Southeast Asia. Produced by True Digital Park, where we're sitting today, in conjunction with Michael Waitze Media. We have the most informative and insightful conversations with startup founders. We were just talking about that. Venture capitalists and senior leaders from tech giants and the government, all recorded at True Digital Park. Today, I am joined by Piyawat Sangprasertkrid. I tried, right? I always try, but I forgot, sorry. Yeah, sure. The Chief Marketing Officer at Verily Vision. I like the name, by the way. Piyawat, how are you doing today?
Great. How about you?
I am super.
I'm really excited today.
Yeah, I'm really glad you're here. You can tell I'm excited too.
Yeah.
And I really do feel like life has come back to normal in Thailand. We'll talk later about how COVID has impacted your business.
Right.
But why don't you give our listeners a little bit of your background for context before we dive in?
Sure.
Go ahead.
So my name is Piyawat Sangprasertkrid, and also my nickname in Thai is Bloom.
Bloom.
Yes, and also for my foreign friends, they refer to me as Paul for simplicity.
Got it.
Yeah, so basically I am native Thai. I grew up in a Thai conservative family in Nakhon Pathom, which is next to Bangkok.
Got it.
Then I started growing up in a Thai high school, basically.
Okay. Just a regular Thai high school?
Regular Thai private Thai high school.
Go ahead.
And then my life changed for the first time during my high school. I went to the US as an exchange program.
Really?
Yeah, to Arizona.
To Arizona.
For a year.
And did you choose Arizona on your own, or did
Not
the program
really.
choose
The program randomly selected the state for each of the programs.
Got it.
Yeah. So before I went to the US, I was basically just like any Thai kids who grow up in like a Thai conservative family.
Right.
Because I live with my mom, who is a hardworking single mom.
Okay.
With my brother, who's right now in the university as well.
Got it.
So basically, before to the US, I was like basically a nerd, actually. Very nerd, introvert, and then the life changed after I went to the US. So exposed to more freedom, to take more like a responsibility to myself.
Did you live with a homestay family there?
Yeah.
Okay, that's incredible. I did the same thing when I was in college.
Oh, right.
Yeah, when I was in college. Were you nervous before you went?
Yes, definitely. It's my first time going abroad, actually.
So your first time going abroad was basically getting on a plane, going
to the US
Arizona
for a year.
For a year.
Yeah,
and
that's my first time.
Come back.
Yeah, it's my first time ever.
So when you look back on that, what do you remember the most?
The most thing I remember about is to really feel myself, be myself, because as a Thai conservative family always have a very influence toward the kids. So the parent always say you should be a doctor, should be a lawyer, should be a whatever. Right. So when I went to the US, I exposed to freedom to explore myself, what I want to be, who I really am.
Right.
So when I came back throughout the year, so I changed. First, I became more extrovert.
Awesome.
I talk more. I communicate. I go to a social event more. I traveling more. So that changed a lot because when you travel, you learn about new experiences, new perspective from different people.
Absolutely.
Right? And that changed a lot. So I have a courage to take risk and do more on whatever I want to do at any time. Yeah.
So where did you go to university?
At Mahidol University, International College.
And what did you study there?
Finance.
Finance?
Yeah, finance.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But you called yourself a nerd before.
Yep.
And not my words, right? Your words.
Yeah,
how do you define yourself being a nerd? In other words, you studied finance. I studied economics.
Okay.
So I'm kind of a nerd too, but still.
But more like introvert, introvert.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So when you graduated from college, did you get a job or did you just start your company right away?
I started the company during my third year, at the end of my third year, but with not this product, it's other thing else completely.
So tell me, what was the inspiration for Verily Vision?
So Verily Vision by itself, it started off because we want to spin off a research project from my co-founder at other universities to turn it into a commercial, because we see that Thailand has a lot of research papers, a lot of on every subject possible, but it just stay there. So we can convert that knowledge into a commercial and contribute it to the industry.
Then where did the idea come from now?
But for the first product, though, it's not what we are doing right now. The first product was the durian fruit inspection machine. Yeah, the durian fruit inspection machine to see whether the fruit is mature enough for consume.
For picking, for eating. Yeah,
we use a microwave sensor to actually find the data inside the fruit, right? It was very promising at the very beginning because we talked to the farmers, to the sellers, and they said they have this pain point on defining the fruit status.
Right.
And that created a pain point to them.
So without that machine, how would someone determine whether
they knock it?
Just
knocking it.
Like or touch the bottom of a pineapple.
Yeah, some kind of that, or tear it apart.
So it's not very scientific.
It's not very scientific.
Right. Whereas you can touch an avocado and feel like it's okay.
That kind of same sense.
But the outside of a durian doesn't facilitate a lot of...
No, you cannot touch it.
Touch it, right?
Knock it with the stick. Yeah.
Okay, and how did that go?
Well, we find the pain point, it's there, but the problem we found is the limitation on technology.
Got it.
Yeah. So we have to, unfortunately, close it down because we cannot solve it with this current technology. Right.
But startups, by definition, are experiments.
Yes, exactly.
Right. So you were experimenting. Yeah. So how big was the team back then when you were doing that? You were still all in university, right?
No.
Oh, you've graduated.
Yeah.
Okay.
So at that time, our team was only three to four people.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you must have had an engineer on the team as well, right?
So everybody except myself is an engineer.
Right.
Yeah. So I am the business background on the team.
And was this still under the Verily Vision flag?
Yes.
It was. Okay. So that was the first product that you tried to figure out.
But we quit it because we find a limitation.
So if startups are fundamentally experiments, particularly early stage startups, what do you think you learned from that experiment?
I think it this way, because I started the company when I was in college. I did our third year. So on one hand, I don't have experience on the business side in the real world that much, even though I do a lot of case competition. To solve business case, just work like a consultant and pitching that to the board judges. Right. Do that. But when I did it in real life with that previous product, we saw something else that we didn't think about before when we study about the inside of the industry. Sometimes we overlook some small pieces of information, and then it all cracked down from that. And then we because I have a business background, I do not truly understand the technical behind it.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So we have to experiment with R&D on the technical term stuff. So it finds the limitation, then we have to unfortunately close it down.
So when you first started developing that product, there must have been some kind of excitement, like this would be awesome if we could take over the entire durian testing market.
We thought we'd take the whole ASEAN to China, to Malaysia.
Everything. And everyone gets really excited.
Get hype about it,
But then it fails.
Yeah.
What is that feeling like?
Very difficult.
Right, but it's demoralizing in a way, right?
Because at that time, I studied at my universities, but my team is at Lat Krabang University. It's very far apart.
I understand.
So I just travel back and forth, like 3 hours traveling every weekend, and sleep under the table of the lab every day.
I understand.
So we put a lot of effort into this, and at the end, we thought, okay, we think it's the time that we have to quit, because we have the family that pressing on us, like, you should get a job,
That was going to be my next question.
Because at that time, at the end of my third year, I actually got a job offer from like a well-known company in Thailand.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I turned it down. My mom was like, "What? Why did you turn it down?"
Right. Because remember, this gets back to what you said. Single mom.
Yeah.
Raising kids on her own.
Yep.
Somehow getting you to the United States so your English gets better, your confidence gets higher. And the idea that you go to Mahidol, a great university, you're studying finance and business, you're primed to go work at SCG or PTT.
Exactly. And then that happened.
And then you said, and you got the job. And your mother's at home going, yes.
And then
you said,
I decided to travel 3 hours every weekend to sleep under the table at the lab to do this thing that she didn't even know what it is. Yep.
What was that like? Was she mad? Not mad, you know what I mean, but just
she was at the very beginning. She very against this idea,
right?
But if I had not had a chance to go to US, I would agree with her that I wouldn't do the business thing. I would just follow her guide.
Right.
But at that time, I thought I want to do it, so I would give it a go.
How did you get the team to recover from that sort of what I call this exuberant feeling, right? When you feel like you've got a great product.
Right.
and then it just doesn't work, and then you're all sitting there going,
one of our co-founder actually quit.
He did, right?
He did. One of our co-founder. Yeah.
And what did he do? He just went and got a job somewhere.
Yeah.
But the rest of the team just said, we're not giving up.
So we have 3 left now. So I think we were lucky enough because right at the end of that quitting thing,
right,
we have like a first potential client talking to our CEO, like, hey, can you do this to solve this pain point? So is what we do right now.
So how did that happen? If I understand this correctly, you're saying like you're all sitting there a little bit bummed out.
Yep.
One of the guys quits, and now you're looking around saying, can we really do this?
Yeah.
And then somebody contacts the CEO. Were you marketing at the time, or is
he
it
met
like a friend of
him
a friend?
at the networking event.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was like I don't know. I think we were lucky at the time.
I mean, everybody gets lucky at some point, right?
Okay.
Right. A lot of people want to say that it just happens all on their own skill, but there's a lot of luck involved. So they came to you and said, we know you have a company that basically takes research papers and projects and tries to commercialize them.
Correct.
So we have a pain point where we've done this research. Can you help us commercialize this? Is that what happened?
Not exactly.
Tell me.
So basically, he came to our CEO and he knows that our team can do some sort of technology. So he mentioned to him that his client has a pain point at some of the process in the company.
Got it.
He wants some solution to solve this. Can you do it?
Right.
Exactly. So we come back and we brainstorm it. Can we actually put it off as a product?
Right.
Then we said, let's give it a go.
And how did that happen?
This was half successful. Half successful because we can close the deal with that client, but we have the solution that works.
Okay.
Yeah. Then we take that and talk to other people.
Right.
And then we got lucky again that our acquaintances happen to have a project that need this kind of solution. And then, okay, let's give it a go again. And it worked at that time. So we started with that. Yeah.
And did you see the team get less excited this time? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just trying to tamp it down a little bit and saying, okay, we're not there yet.
Exactly.
But we're on our way.
Yeah.
Right?
Because we know that it's not going to be easy.
Yeah. The first time it always seems easy.
Yeah, everything seems to be perfect. Yeah, we got a client. He ready to pay for it. We just need to build this and serve it to him.
Right.
Yeah.
And what year was this?
2017.
Okay, so it's not that long ago.
Not that long.
Just 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Right. So in the ensuing 3 years, what other products have you developed?
Right now, for Verily Vision, what we're doing, we develop an AI solution using image processing technology. So basically, it's a camera technology that can detect maybe license plate of a car.
Okay.
Yeah, and a container as well.
Okay.
So that's what we do right now.
And what was the genesis of that? Was that your own idea, or again, was it someone came to you with a pain point?
It's that pain point. That's what we carry on for 3 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So that was that.
Yeah, it's for that.
And how has the technology changed over the past 3 years?
So the past 3 years, the technology changed a lot. So right now, we are adopting the concept of deep learning. Artificial intelligence is deep learning concept, so it's better than regular, AI.
Right. So it's better than just like OCR, character recognition, right?
Exactly.
So better than just taking the picture and saying that's a 9.
Okay.
Or this is that kind of thing.
Correct.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. And is it just for license plates still?
With the container as well. The cargo container.
Cargo container.
So we have project with the terminal, with the port, and also for license plate for like a village,
Wow.
And condominium stuff.
And does it just keep growing and growing?
Yeah.
Wow.
But there's up and down.
For sure. Yeah. There's up and downs with
It's not like, wow,
it's never a straight line.
It's not a straight line.
It wasn't even a straight line for Microsoft, right? And it definitely wasn't a straight line for Google. Is your mom proud now?
Kind of. She still believes that I could be a better off going to the corporate.
Going to get a job. Yeah. But this is the beauty of the startup world, right?
Yeah.
Is that you're allowed to try and fail,
and
iterate. And if you can do that, particularly in this region like Southeast Asia, there are plenty of opportunities and plenty of market gaps that need to get filled.
Agree.
Right? How big is your team now?
We have almost 10 now.
Okay. So triple the size than it was just a few years ago. Yeah, that's pretty amazing. Probably more engineers than a couple of salespeople.
Yeah, just one.
Just one.
Yeah,
but that's
we
amazing.
Recruit more engineer people.
Have to, right? Because it's so engineering based, right? To be able to do deep learning.
Correct.
It matters. And can I ask you this too? Have all of your teammates studied abroad like you did?
No.
Just you?
Yeah.
Are you the only English speaker there? That's not true, though.
No, they can speak English, but they haven't been studying abroad.
Got it. And do you think that studying abroad thing gives you an edge in business as well?
Definitely.
Really?
Definitely.
Tell me how.
First, it's a language. Basically, you study abroad, you have to be able to speak second language, English or other language or Chinese or whatever.
Whatever it is, right?
So that give you an opportunity to explore the market outside of Thailand. That's one. Second is a knowledge base. So some knowledge is not in Thai, it's in English, in Chinese.
Got it.
And some of the research is in that in the local language.
Sure.
So it's give you a competitive edge itself by being able to speaking or reading second language or third language.
Right. I mean, if you want to learn about deep learning or artificial intelligence, or even use just like AWS's services to do that, it's probably easier
English
if
language.
You can speak English, right?
Otherwise, if you have to wait until it got translated into Thai, that would be too late.
Yeah,
because everybody knows about it already.
You just move much slower.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about one of the things we mentioned at the beginning, which is COVID-19. Because your business doesn't seem to be so consumer-centric.
Correct. We're B2B based. Like
Definitely
very heavy B2B based.
Heavy B2B based, right? Like, I don't need this product.
Yeah, nobody.
I'd like to have it sometimes to do some deep learning.
Okay.
But has COVID-19 really impacted your business? And what did you do? It has?
It has.
So tell me how.
So COVID-19 impact everyone. That is undeniable. Yeah. More or less depend on who you are or what industry you are.
Right.
So for my industry, what we do, we work with a big corporate. So their financial is very better off than other smaller businesses.
For sure.
Meaning that they have enough budget to carry on the project we do.
Right.
However, there is a problem about the new project because eventually they have to pause the new project.
Right.
That's going on because some of the company mentioned that if the project need a budget higher than 50 million Thai baht, then they will pause it. Pause it until the COVID kind of fade off a little bit and absorb the impact from that COVID-19.
Okay.
Because from my client, they do import-export stuff, so that COVID impacted to them, to their revenue and cost directly.
So this gets back to the container side of the business.
Correct.
So how was that import-export stuff impacted by COVID? Was it impacted a lot? In other words,
a lot really? Actually, because it's got impacted since the first quarter.
Right.
It went down by 6% roughly.
6, okay.
And then the worst part is in the second quarter, so it up by double that to 12 or 13% something.
So it went down 6, then went down another 12
Correct.
or 13%.
Yes. That's very tough for them actually, especially for smaller players.
For sure. For sure. This gets back to the budgeting you were talking about, right?
Because for some small players, let's say for a smaller terminal in China, the volume went down like 23%, 30%. That's happening to them because they are small. So the bigger players have more incentive to draw, the customer to the bigger port. Right. But for smaller port, they don't have that, competitive edge that much. Right. So they will get impacted a lot. I think that also happened to other businesses as well, where the smaller player got impacted more than the bigger players.
Right. And how's the most recent quarter?
The most recent quarter, this quarter, I'm waiting for the number as well.
Okay.
But for the whole year, the forecast should be around 13% roughly.
Down.
Yeah. Down. Yes. Down.
So again,
but one thing is, even though we forecast on the very negative number, these recent months, even in China, we see a lot of recovery trend
That's
right now.
What I want to know.
So we believe that we have already surpassed the weakest quarter, which is second quarter. So right now it's about recovery in case that there's no second outbreak. So we are on the recovery phase right now.
Yeah, it doesn't feel to me like there's going to be a second outbreak in Thailand.
I hope so.
I think the Thai government has done a really good job, but also people in Thailand they wear masks anyway.
Correct.
We socially distance in a way that's really proper.
Yep.
We didn't open too early.
Yes.
I feel like everybody's done a really good job.
Yep. But we still have to work a lot on the
absolutely.
economy
We can't stop, right?
Yeah.
Cannot stop, and you have to keep going.
Yes.
But again, I like the psychology of this startup. I just want to ask you one more question, then I want to start talking about what it's like to be at TDPK. So again, you get back to that first product. It feels like it's going to be great. It fails.
Yep.
Everyone's bummed out.
Yep.
Then you build this new product. Your first client says, maybe not, but you find another client.
Correct.
And you grow and grow and grow for 3 years. And now you're feeling a little bit safer. Not safe, right? But safer,
better.
But better. Yeah. You feel better. Now you can be proud of what you're doing, what you've built. And then boom, March comes. What is that feeling like? When you just don't know because you're just unsure.
Yeah,
right?
sure. Yeah, but in March, we already got a backlog project So we are like way better off than other
companies.
Yeah. So again, we got lucky somehow. Again, that we got backlog. So we are kind of okay comparing to others. But I'm not very proud of that because everybody got impacted. I just got lucky to have a backlog for
sure. You never want to be happy at somebody else's problem, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So you are a startup in residence at TDPK.
Yes.
When did you start doing that?
To be here, right?
Yeah.
I think 6 months maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
6 months.
Yeah. 6 months.
So did you have an office before you were here?
Yeah.
And was it here or was it somewhere else?
It was somewhere else. We have like a home office there.
Got it.
Yeah.
And does the team come here now? Most of the team come here?
We have like a headquarters here.
That's awesome.
So everybody come here to work now.
So tell me, what is it like being a startup in residence? What does it feel
like? Let me talk about why we moved to here first then.
Please.
Because at the very beginning, we don't have enough budget to afford the office.
Sure.
So we stayed at the home office.
Right.
However, what we found being at a home office is that the environment is not facilitated.
It's not conducive to working, right?
Yes, correct. So we need to find somewhere else because my CTO mentioned that staying at home doesn't give him the energy.
Right.
The energy is not there. He cannot think about any creative idea.
Right.
So we find places around here to have that environment that can enhance to his creativity, so our team energy.
Right.
They found TDPK. So we came here and we walk around and go back to our office, talk for maybe a week about cost and benefit of being here. And then we decide that, okay, let's give it a shot. So we move it here for 6 months now.
Right.
And we just extended our contact.
So for me, it's a big benefit. Like I could do recordings at home.
Yeah.
But for me, being here is, and this blows people away actually, that I talk to in the United States, the internet speed here is a little bit insane. Right? I mean, I get 400 or 500 megabits up and down. I don't know what you're getting.
I kind of same, I think.
It's really fast though, right? So there are plenty of benefits of being here.
Correct.
I also think there's a benefit because there are plenty of other startups that are here. I like to walk around. And I'm different than you, but I like to walk around and talk to people and just say, what are you working on? What are you doing? And see if there's a way to share ideas. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. It's really cool because if there are other entrepreneurs in residence here, right, or other startups in residence, their CTO or their CMO or CEO probably has similar problems. I don't want to say problems, but issues.
Yeah.
And I bet if you walk into that office and say, oh, I'm having this problem, the benefit of having other startups in residence means that you can share ideas in a way you couldn't do if you were in a home office, right? I think so. Let's talk about Thailand as a whole. What do you think are some of the challenges that you face as a startup in Thailand?
As a startup in Thailand, I think it happened everywhere in the world. So because let's say 3, 4, 5 years ago, everybody mentioned about big corporate that they are big fish, they swim very slow, they cannot adapt to change.
Right.
But right now, they move even faster than some startup.
Tell me how you know that.
Look at the financial sectors.
Oh yeah, please.
Yeah, right.
Right.
So many banks created their own like special force, special unit that works in a startup culture, and they move very quickly because, as you can see right now, so many applications are rolling out from the bank sectors. The bank sector partner with even bigger startup, so they collaborate with startup that are already successful and that enjoy forces, so they move faster. And for smaller startup, it will be tougher.
Right. So in the old days, we used to say that the smaller startups will
have
nimble and have an advantage. Yeah,
correct.
They can move faster. But if, like you say, if big corporates have kind of caught on to the game in a way.
Correct. They have resources, but now they move faster.
Right.
However, not every corporate can do this. Not in every industry can adapt to this. So this is an opportunity for startup to partner with other corporate in other industry to be like their, technology arm, innovation arm to them, and they grow together.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I see a big opportunity actually, not just in Thailand, but like you said, in the rest of the world.
Correct.
To do this sort of external innovation that then either you buy and bring in or you license and bring in.
Yep.
Right. And I talk a lot about when I was at Goldman Sachs and we were trying to make decisions about how to improve our trading technology. We did it internally. But when I was at Deutsche Bank, we actually hired somebody third party to do it externally because there was no way we could get our tech teams
to beat
to build that fast. it wasn't their fault. They were highly skilled, but the maintenance they were doing on the legacy systems prevented them from innovating in a way that they wanted to. And that's why a lot of them actually ended up leaving to start companies that could do the third-party development.
They can focus.
Right, to do the third-party development. That's interesting. And when you look at the entire startup ecosystem from your perspective, having been in it now for a long time, 3 or 4 years, what do you think the current status is? Like, has it changed in the 3 years that you were doing this without the impact of COVID?
Okay, sure. So I think for the past 3 years, it's getting tougher to get funded right now because I think right now VCs or investors are looking more toward the profitabilities.
Right.
Because like 3-4 years ago, we talked about solution, technologies, blah, blah, blah. But with so many events that happen with big startup in the news, so they focus more on the balance sheet, on the finance part of it, the business model. Are you gonna make money ever? And is it gonna be profitable? So that's getting more tough. So for startup to be able to raise fund, I think especially for the very early stage, they have to be very solid on that business model, or prove some traction in the market to get higher chance to get invested from the VCs or by the investor.
So we haven't spoken about this at all, but have you raised money for your company? You haven't. So you bootstrapped this thing the whole time.
We bootstrapped and then we got lucky. We got a client, get paid. So
you don't have to.
Yeah, we don't have to.
Did you ever think about going out into the market and trying to raise or not?
We tried.
You did?
You try.
Yeah. But do you think at this stage it really matters for you? In other words, can you grow with just your existing revenue?
We could.
Yeah.
We could.
Yeah, because I like the idea of not raising money.
Oh, really? Why?
For the exact reason, because once you have, let's get back to your mother's opinion of when you turn down that job, that corporate job, right? When somebody is behind you trying to push you in a certain direction, there's pressure on you. And sometimes you make a decision you don't necessarily want to make, or making that decision's harder.
Right.
That's what venture capital raising is like.
Okay.
I'm going to give you $1 million to grow into Malaysia.
But you have to do this.
But you have to do these things and those things. And every month you have to catch up with them. Why aren't you in Malaysia yet? Kind of thing.
Okay.
And then COVID hits.
Now
they're crazy about the money.
Right.
Whereas all you have to do now is just deal with your internal team. And you've already learned how to get through the adversity. So what you don't need, I think, is somebody on the outside saying, congratulations for getting this far, but we're smart. Our money's smarter than yours. So now listen to what we say.
Yeah. So much pressure.
But for a business like yours, it's unnecessary pressure.
Yeah.
Because I think you can scale without that.
We have options to do it by ourselves or raising fund.
Yeah, and you've proven it to yourselves, right? Yeah, fair enough. Okay, so you've been at this for a long time now, right? And we've already talked a little bit about the startup ecosystem in Thailand, some of the challenges that you faced. What do you think going forward, 3 years, 5 years, is going to change the game for startups and for SMEs in Thailand?
I think, first of all, there always be a pain point in any activities, any industry. So the opportunity is always there. But we have to find it and find a solution that can really solve that. And always find this business model that can get the return from that as well.
Got it.
Because we see so many startups trying to solve a pain point, but at the end, they not sure about when do they get the money or being profitable from that business. And another thing is, when we talk about pain point, we learn that we also have to look about the pain point itself. Is it big enough to solve it, or it's too small?
Right.
Yeah, that's the way the factor that I have to keep in mind.
Yeah, like does it really matter?
Yeah.
Right. So one last thing I'll ask you, and then I'll let you go. You said going to the United States, ending up in Arizona, changed your life. That's a big statement.
Yeah.
When you talk to kids that are younger than you, do you find a way to encourage them to kind of get out of their comfort zone?
I do.
And go anywhere. It doesn't have to be the US. Go to France, learn how to speak French, but just do something like that?
I do encourage them to take risk.
Right.
But it has to be a calculated risk.
Absolutely.
So you want to do something, you can go get it a go, try it, but be mindful about the risk involved in that.
Yeah.
The downside of it.
Absolutely.
Can you actually take the worst case scenario on that whatever you're doing? If you said yes, I can take it, then give it a go.
Right. Yeah. If you're not going to die, give it a shot.
Yeah.
Okay, look, I really want to thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Hopefully it was fun for you.
Sure, it was very fun.
It was real fun for me. I want to thank Piyawat Sangprasertkrid. See, I got it this time.
Yeah.
The Chief Marketing Officer at Verily Vision for coming in and doing this today. And thank the production team as well. You guys are awesome.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you.